Welcome to Below the Surface, the podcast where we go beyond the small talk and dive deep into the conversations that matter.
From personal growth to the complexities of human behaviour, we explore the stories, ideas and experiences that shape our world without the fluff.
Expect raw, thought-provoking discussions with fascinating guests and plenty of insights to challenge the way that you think.
So if you're ready to look below the surface, you're in the right place.
Let's get into it. Hello. Tell us. Who is Áine McGinn?
It's always the weirdest question to answer. Like, who are you? If you had asked me a couple of years ago, I would have said I am party girl. I am traveller. But now I am just chill. Like, I am so content. But like, I have this thing in work, like in my normal job, that I use called a whip. It's a work in progress. And we add stuff to it every day and it all tallies up and you can see when you go on to it, I am a work in progress. And I think for the rest of my life, I will be a work in progress. Just chipping away day by day on doing things to just make me ultimately happy. I think I am me.
I just am.
I don't know. I am a being. I am a happy, hearty, loving person.
Lovely. So you said there that you were a party girl.
Oh yeah.
And now you're chill.
Yeah.
So tell us the background. How did you go from being a party girl to someone who's pure zen?
Do you know what? I'm not going to say I'm pure zen. I still love a good party sometimes,
Still a bit
but
chaotic.
just not anywhere near as what I was in the past.
You know when to stop now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Sometimes. So when I finished school, I thought I knew what I wanted to do. I had done my work experience in school at this like law firm, and I was like in these murder trials in Belfast, and it was so exciting. And I was like, oh my God, I want to be like a lawyer who like is in these murder trials and stuff. And then I started a degree in law and absolutely hated every single bit of it. It was like European constitutional law and all this. And I was like, nah. I was like, that's not for me. I was like, give me all the criminal stuff. So I dropped out of that after 6 months and I moved to Ibiza.
No way.
Yeah. So I moved. It was just from one extreme to the other. I just a problem came and I just ran away. That was the start of me jumping from country to country to evade my problems, basically. I just said, nope, that's not working for me. I'm gone. And I went to Ibiza, and that's just where the party girl era started.
But how did it feel to drop out? Because we'll say society here is kind of like you go to school, you go to college, that's it, bingo, bango. But like, how did you feel when you were like, no, I'm not doing this anymore?
Awful.
Yeah.
Like, it was so bad. I just felt like I let everyone down. Like, my family were so happy that their daughter was going to do a law degree, and then I was just like, actually, like, this just isn't for me. And I just felt like it was just wasted, and I had just made everyone really unhappy. And then I told them I wanted to move, and it was just like, no, you're not moving. Like, you have to stay and do something. I was like, no, I actually am. So like, I sort of went away with no blessing from anyone, and that really it probably darkened why I partied so much, because I just sort of from then felt like a failure, and just that continued on, really.
And did you have a relationship with them while you were gone?
Oh yeah, like I would still talk to them very often
Yeah.
and stuff, but like I don't know, you just don't talk about things. Irish families, I just feel like don't really ever go into detail and talk about their feelings. It never has been a thing. You don't really speak about like what's really going on inside of you. So it was just like pushed under the rug, and then just continued on.
And what do you think like made you want to keep running? Like when you didn't want to do something or you didn't like something, the reaction was to run away.
Yeah.
Why do you think that was? Or
Just
did you ever put your finger on it? Or
now that I've came home, I think it was obviously the people in the places that I was living. If something sort of happened around that, I was like, I need a fresh start. It needs to be away from whatever has went on in that space. So when I was in Belfast and dropped out of uni, I was like, I don't want to be around like Belfast. I don't want to be around that. So jumped to Ibiza. When Ibiza finished and there was a lot of dark things happened there, I was like, move from Ibiza. I don't want to be there anymore. Jump into the next country. It was just moving from that space.
And did it take you long to realise that, like, the jumping and the moving, like, wasn't the solution?
Only this year.
Just
as in, like this, I moved home in, like, literally this week last year. I've been home from Australia for a year, so it's taken me for this full year to realise, like...
Patterns, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, but how long have you been gone for in total? So you've only started to realise this year, but like there was many years that you were gone, was it?
Oh yeah, I left home when I was 19.
God.
And I'm 31 now.
Right.
So yeah, a long time. I was home for 4 years during my degree, my second degree. So I did another degree. So I was home for 4 years doing that, but I was doing a full-time degree. I was working 2 jobs.
What was the degree?
Business Information Technology.
And you were doing that while you were travelling?
No, so I was home for those. I did
right,
a couple of travelling stints during it, just to different countries and stuff, but like not living.
Could you find, did you find any like stages while you were travelling and stuff? Did you find happiness?
Yeah, like I'll never, like there was some parts of my travelling experiences were absolutely incredible. Like I would 100% go back and relive them again if I could, but was I ever really fully happy? Probably not.
And would it last long? Like, would the happiness that you would feel, would it just be short lived, or could you actually enjoy it and be happy, or not really?
It's a strange one because I feel like I obviously during a lot of those times where I was traveling, I was like drinking and partying a lot. Like that was just the main thing for most of the places
it's like
I was
false
at.
Happiness,
yeah.
isn't it?
So I was like, how am I ever supposed to know? Like,
what was the intention? What was the intention with going traveling? It was to get away from your problems, but was that the only intention? Okay,
I also wanted to see the world.
Yeah,
like I wanted to see things and do things, and I sort of, when I was way younger, I went to like this youth club, and they used to bring us on like trips over to like Romania and stuff, and like other places that you would never really normally go to, and that sort of gave me an eye opener as to like, oh my god, there's places outside of like Belfast that I can go to and experience new cultures and stuff. Like, bear in mind, the first place I went to was Ibiza, so I didn't really get to experience much of a culture, party culture, yeah. But I think as I got older, I went to sort of more places, like doing Asia and like living in Bali and stuff. I was able to actually experience that culture part that I wanted. So I will never sit here and say, oh, I hated not finding myself and running away to all these places, because they gave me such a good life.
But you need to, I feel 100%. Like you need to go away on your own, away from like home surroundings and stuff like that. If you really want to kind of dive deep into yourself and find yourself, you need to get away and then come back so you can see it in a different light. Like if you stay here the whole time, I find it maybe not impossible, but extremely difficult to fully kind of figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like every single place that I have went to or that I have been to has taught me something new about myself. And that all just builds up over time. And sort of now I'm like, I still don't know myself. Like I don't think you'll ever fully know who you are as a person.
We're constantly evolving. I think it's always forever changing.
Yeah, 100%. Like all of these things build up, and you reach a point where you're like, oh, maybe I can start to work on this. I think for me anyway, it's like I hit rock bottom when I was in Australia, and that sort of forced me into actually starting to put the work in to becoming like a happier version of myself, and like someone who doesn't run away from things anymore.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you there. Was there the same problem that kept following you, or was there different problems in different places, or was there one thing that was like just kept fucking coming up?
No, it was different problems everywhere. It was just like loads of chaotic things just happened throughout life. When I went to Ibiza, like that was just hectic. There was a lot of like really dark stuff in Ibiza, like surrounding like friends getting stabbed and like all of this. It was just somewhere I just didn't want to be. And then like a couple of breakups along the way. When I lived in Bali, I met the most amazing group of people, like people who I'm still like best friends with to this day. Like that was one of the best travel incidents I've ever had. But I have my own business. I was doing graphic design. Like everything was perfect there for a couple of months. And then one night we went out to a party or whatever and came back, and our our friend had crashed his moped on the way home and died. And it was just like, it's just one of them things that like hits you. You know, like it really hits you and you're like, oh my God, like I was literally with you 0.2 seconds ago and it's just gone, it's over. And that sort of really, really hit me hard and deep. And like I went off the rails then. I lost my business. I couldn't function. I was just drinking constantly. Like life just went spiraled. And then I moved to Australia. I ran away from it and moved to Australia. And because I hadn't dealt with any of that, and obviously the build up from over the years, all of that just piled up on me while I was in Australia. And then I went through a really bad breakup in Australia as well. And like it just got to a point where I was like, oh Jesus, I actually can't do this anymore. I was like, this is just getting too out of hand. And I broke. So I did. I broke and and then I was like, at the start of the year I left home, was 2020, or the start of the year I moved home was like 2024. I was in like a really small car crash, really small, like somebody just drove into the back of me. But I think that for me just pushed me. I went to the doctors, they put me on antidepressants. I was literally like, I was taking Valium every night to sleep. Like I was just a shell of a human, like complete shell. And yeah, that just led me. And I remember actually, this is how I got, so I had started doing breath work like a couple of months before that. And like I was getting really good releases out of it and everything. And I just felt it like it was a really good tool. But I still didn't know too much about it. And I wanted to really learn more. And I remember one day just a plan for it, like really thickly, like just, and I wrote in the application form, I don't know why I wrote this, but I was like, I want to bring it home to Belfast. I had no intention of moving home. I just had no intention of moving home at all. And I was like, I think I'll write this because it'll make her want to pick me if I say that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember lying in bed one night and I was literally lying in bed crying my eyes out. It was just one of them nights that I was having. I just couldn't cope with the pressure and everything that was going on. And I was on Skyscanner looking at flights home and like just scrolling, seeing what best option I had because I just needed to get out. I needed my mummy and daddy. I just needed to be like surrounded by family. And as soon as I like clicked onto one of the flights, I got an email saying, you've been accepted into the breathwork facilitator program in Sydney. And I was like, wow, if that's not a sign to stay here and do that, like I don't know what is. And see, since that moment, everything just started changing. I just started learning about me, about my behaviours, my patterns, what made me act the way I was acting. And everything just started to fall into place.
So how was your day to day? Like you said there, how you were acting. So you lost your business. So you weren't.
Yeah.
So what were you doing with your day?
After, before?
When you were in the shits, like when you were.
When I was in the shits?
Yeah.
When I first moved to Sydney, I was working, just literally had this conversation. I was working in a bar and I was working really long shifts. Like really long shifts. I was working evenings, weekends. When I wasn't working, I was out drinking. And that was just a constant. That was just constant. And then next day, hungover, going to work. Just repeated. Then I moved jobs and I was working from home constantly. But I was working from home 5 days a week by myself in this apartment. And it was just
one
so
extreme
lonely.
to the other, really, isn't it?
100%.
Being surrounded by loads of people to being surrounded by no one.
And then you just develop this loneliness. And like, yes, you have friends and everything. But like when you're working from home in that lonely environment and then all you want to do is go to bed after. I spent most of my nights in bed. I have watched every single episode of Friends 45 times over because that was my comfort show. That was literally, I just went to the shop, I got myself a munch, I binge it, I watched Friends on repeat, and I just lay there.
Such an easy watch, though.
Yeah, so good.
It's really good.
It is so good. It's
Eating
literally
the dinner and just have it on in the background. Like
it's the best show ever. It's got me through some of the darkest days. Like.
Brilliant.
So then talk to us about getting into breathwork, because yesterday you told us that like you were very skeptical towards that.
Oh yeah.
So let's just say you're aware that, you know, life is feeling a bit shit for you, but you're also avoiding it. So how did you transition from being totally avoidant to now not having resistance towards actually leaning into it and going into something that you were skeptical about?
Yeah. So when I lived in Bali, everyone was like, "Oh, you're going over to find yourself and do all of it." I was like, "No." I was like, that wasn't me. That was never my plan for when I moved there. I went out a lot when I was there. I made friends. Like I worked. I did sort of normal life things, just in a different country. I wasn't into all the yoga and the breath work and everything that everyone else went to. but my friends were. All of them were. And I was like, I just don't believe in any of it. I just don't believe that you can like act the way you're acting. Do you know what? I went to this Kundalini class once, and I don't really know anything about Kundalini.
Is that like yoga?
I've heard about Kundalini, but
I've never really
know too
explored
much about it either. Yeah, I've heard about it, right.
But I remember being so freaked out. Like, I was like, what is going on here? I was lying on the ground, and I think it's like, I'm not sure if it's, I don't want to get it wrong in case any Kundalini people are listening, but it's like energy and music and breath, but like not the type of breath work I do, but they work on your energy in your body. But people were like limbs everywhere in the air, like screaming, and I was like, that was my first ever experience of anything like that. And I was like, nope, not for me.
That's what I was afraid was going to happen yesterday.
I was like, no, don't want to be a part of that. And then from then I was like, I don't want like any of that stuff. I think it's a load of crap, basically. And as I was saying yesterday, one of my best friends, who is the teacher for the breathwork for me, she's a master. She's absolutely fantastic at what she does. And she was telling me about it and stuff. And I was like, still, you can tell me all you want, but I just don't believe it. And it was only until my friend Áine, he is skeptical like me, and he had said to me, Áine, you need to try it. Like, if I'm saying it, like, it's changing me. And I was like, okay, like, if this skeptical person just like me is saying that, I was like, I might have to believe it. And I remember going for my first ever one-to-one session with Kiva, and I remember just coming out of it and being like, what the hell?
So what happened in your first session?
Apparently, because I'm saying I was so in my subconscious that I didn't know what I was releasing, like, at all. Like, I was so far gone into my subconscious that apparently I was like just screaming, crying. Like, my hands were like, really, really tense, cramped up, just releasing a lot, like convulsions. And I sort of came around after, and my whole face was soaking. And I was like, I can't actually remember sort of releasing that because I was so far gone. It was just an out of body, incredible experience. It's so hard.
So you weren't aware of any of the physical movements that was happening to your body?
At the start, when you're sort of in between consciousness, like, yeah, I was aware that I was starting to get emotional, and that I was starting to feel the tension in my body and the tingling in my body and stuff like that. But I went really so far deep in my first session that I couldn't really remember.
You don't need to know, you don't need to know what you want to release.
Nope.
The body does what it needs to do.
Yeah.
I remember you saying that yesterday. That
yeah.
Just
100%.
Let the body do it where it needs to go.
Go where it needs to go. Your body's so smart.
But you said you weren't conscious. Like, when I did it yesterday, I could feel my legs tense, and I could feel the tingling.
Yeah.
But you were gone past that stage of you couldn't actually feel what was happening.
No. It's honestly because you're just altering your stages of consciousness. Some people can go so deep, but some people can. I think maybe it was because I was with this girl who I trusted with my life. I literally I've known her for ages, and I went for it.
And it was one-to-one, whereas ours was a group yesterday. Yeah.
Do you think it's going to overtake conventional therapy, like talk therapy? I know that might be controversial now, and people have their own biases and stuff like that. But like, if you don't have to directly go back and live what's wrong, would it not make more sense to release it that way rather than have to consistently go back and keep just remembering it and having to remember it and having to talk about it over and over? Like, are you ever really going to let it go if you're constantly talking about? Whereas, like, if you can let something go without having to relive it, or maybe just relive it in that moment and then let it go, like, rather than having to keep going back.
Yeah.
Like,
well, this is something I would talk to a lot of my clients about. Like, a lot of my clients like my one-to-one clients would come into me and tell me that they have tried therapy and it doesn't work for them. All they're doing is reliving it, and then all they do that day is think about it the day after they think about it. And it hasn't got to the root. Like, they're still walking around with this heaviness, and that's when they come and they're like, I want to get rid of the heaviness that's in my body that's there. And I'm like, amazing, because this type of breath work is for your body.
it makes sense. Like,
It does make sense. Like, it's It is just one of the most phenomenal tools ever, and I find it really hard to describe the feeling of it unless you've done it. Like, unless you go through that experience and you actually know like how the whole session goes and what you actually feel in your body. I can chat to you and tell you all the amazing benefits about it, and you could be like, yeah. But unless you do it, unless you feel it, you're going to still probably be on the fence.
Yeah, someone said to me the last day they go, if you hold your nose for long enough, you'll find out real quick what's important.
Yeah, it is mad, honestly. I'd shout from the rooftops about it now, and it's mad going back and thinking how skeptical I was of it and being like, oh my God, I'm such a changed woman. Like, it's brought me so much genuine clarity in my mind, and like helped me release so much through my body over the years.
But that's the good thing, like, about like you going through all of the, like, all the partying phase, all the lying in bed crying, and you know, like, it's obviously just brought you to like like it wouldn't have brought you to where you are now.
I know, absolutely. And I said this, I think I might have said this to you yesterday. I would go through everything a million times over because it's led me to this exact position that I'm in right now. And I have genuinely never been happier in my whole entire life.
Amazing.
Like, I have so much peace inside me. Like, I used to be the most anxious, overthinking, overstimulated person ever. And I used to cry all the time. Like, I was just, see, even with my family, when I would sometimes be home in between, or when I was at home at a time doing my degree, I was a bitch. I was an absolute bitch. Like, every day there was something new. I was shouting about something. I was like so angry with my parents, and they had never done anything wrong to me. And I had all this built up anger and tension in my body, and I just never knew.
Didn't know what to do with it.
And I took it out all on them. And see, now I love being with my parents. Like, I'm living at home at the minute, and I come home every day and I'm so excited to see them, and I don't have any of that anger anymore. I don't have any of that like sadness, and I can fully enjoy being in their presence without just being an absolute bitch to them, to be honest.
Would you use it during the day now? So, like, if you're just going about, or you know, someone was annoying you, or you're getting stressed or something, would you just take a minute and just get a few breaths in?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I've obviously learned down regulation breathing as well for stress, which is just going into your rest and digest mode if you're sort of in that anxiety, fight or flight.
That's very different to what you did
Very
yesterday.
different, yeah.
Could someone do that? Like, say some of the listeners now that we're like, is there like a certain kind of time for when you breathe in or when you breathe out, or how would you go about that? So like if someone else wanted to do it, like
just for rest and digest to get you down regulated, there's loads of different types of breathing you can do. There's the 4-7-8 method, which is breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and release for 8. It starts to sort of calm you down and bring you into a nice sort of down regulated state.
And how long? Maybe 2 or 3 minutes?
You can do 2 or 3 minutes. If you have trouble sleeping, I would do that one before you go to bed for like 10 to 15 minutes.
The 4-7-8.
Yeah, 4-7-8. And down regulation, just like 4 in, 4 out, 5 in, 5 out. Just sort of just calming yourself, taking the big deep breath in through the nose and just exhaling it. Elongated exhales are really nice and calming too. Just like decreasing, like just relaxing, releasing all the tension in your body with that blowout. Honestly, I could go on forever. There's so many different types of breaths.
Called? Is it called a physiological sigh? Is that the one where you go 2 breaths in and?
Yeah, I mean, you can sigh sort of on any of the ones.
Actually,
I thought that was an actual name for it or something.
That was where you breathe in as much as you can, and then you try and get that little tiny bit more, and then breathe out. So try and fill up as much as you can, and then when you don't think you have any more, try and get that little bit more, and then
just I feel like the sigh is just such a nice thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, see yesterday during the breathwork session when I just was like, make this last breath, hold your breath, and I want you to just sigh out everything that you've been holding on to, and it's just this release, and it just feels amazing. I was doing like a TikTok series of like breathing in May, and I was like, there's one where you just breathe in and you just keep sighing out, and it's just such a nice way to release how you're feeling.
The fact that it's a free tool to us too is just That's quite
crazy,
isn't it?
Crazy.
So when you were going through your healing process yourself, like how often were you practicing like intentional, conscious, connected breathing?
Not often, probably once a month. I was doing a class. I would have done a couple of one-to-ones. I had probably 3 really intense one-to-ones. And then I would go to a couple of different classes. And I tried to go to a couple of different facilitators as well, because people's classes are obviously different. But that was all when I was in Sydney. Now that I've been back home, it's not really... I don't know anyone in Belfast who's doing the same type of breathing as me. I did like a 9D one a couple of weeks ago, and it was good. Like, I really enjoyed it. It's just, it's when you put the headphones on and it's all the different sounds and everything's going round, but somebody talking into my ear for the whole time in like an American accent just doesn't do it for me. I just can't get to that level, you know.
Poor American accent.
But I feel like regardless of, it's the breath and the music that just really changes and alters like your release. So I did get a good release out of it.
The music, like yesterday, just for the people listening, Áine was playing like Fred again. Like, I mean, fucking, it was so loud. That's not what I was expecting at all. Thought, you know, it's just going to be calm, relaxing. Massage music, or spa music. Next thing she comes in with, like, what the fuck?
I'll never have a breathwork session that I don't play Fred again.
Ever. It was wild. It was wild. Like, it was just, it wasn't what I was expecting at all.
No, because we build the intensity up. I want to get sort of...
Was that a playlist? Did you make that playlist up?
I make all my playlists.
By the intensity?
Yeah. I sit and I make up different playlists for different sessions that I have. Like, I'll have like, if I do like a self-love class, I'll make all the songs, but like intense songs like about love and like self-love and all that. I did like a peace one. And I just try and get like the best songs that I can to because music, it's just, it triggers something. Like it when you're sort of in that place in your body where your mind is sort of going quiet and you're just present in your body, music triggers so much emotional release in your body.
Oh, it's crazy. Memories for me. It brings like really back memories. Some different certain times.
It is just one of the most fantastic things.
Yeah, it is.
And I really take pride in trying to make my playlist as best as I can.
Yeah, no, that was good now yesterday.
It was good, to be fair.
I know how much during my own sessions that I was a participant in, that music helped me. So I want to bring that in as well. And like Kiva, who taught me, she's really big on the music as well, and she really sort of ingrained that in us when we were doing our training. So it's amazing.
So will you explain, just for people who aren't aware, because obviously we did a session with you yesterday, but can you just tell us like a bit of the background or the science of what actually happens?
Yeah, absolutely. So the breath work that I do is called conscious connected breathing. It's basically just mouth breathing only. And the science bit behind it is when we're breathing in and out of our mouth, we're exporting more carbon dioxide out of our body than we normally would be. So in our brain is this thing called transient hypofrontality, where basically we're not getting enough oxygen going to our prefrontal cortex. This makes our monkey mind, our thinking mind, go a bit quiet, giving us access to the emotional centers of our brain, which is our subconscious, which is all the shit stored, all the stuff that you put down that you don't think about anymore, that like your traumas, your PTSDs, like just all of that is stored, and then that gives us the access to be able to release those stored emotions through our body. And it's a gift. Our bodies will, during that time, be obviously restricted in carbon dioxide. So we'll start to do sort of some random things, but there's a lot of stagnant energy in your body. So you'll feel tingling, you'll feel shaking, you'll feel hotness and coldness. There's so many different physical symptoms that you can get with the breath work, but all of this combined sort of helps us we can release stored emotions in the body. We can gain so much mental clarity because our thinking mind is just going blank, and we're able to sort of just have clear thoughts without all of the overthinking, all of the anxiety. And it puts our body into this real deep state of relaxation as well. Like at the end of the session, when you are just fully there, fully present, fully relaxed in your body, there's no feeling like it. I love it.
And say for people now who might not be aware, is there people that, you know, how would they know, or is there any signs of you're storing potentially emotions in your body.
Oh yeah, there's definitely signs. Like anxiety is such a big sign of having all of that in your body, overthinking, all of this. Like pain in your body, disease in your body. These can all be built up from years of stored stuff going on in your body, stored traumas and all of that. So there's definitely signs. And I would get a lot of people saying to me, I'm sure I don't have trauma. And I'm like, are you sure?
Probably at the most.
Let me dig it out.
I know. It's just like, I feel like you don't really, people think trauma is like the big T. It's the big massive events that happen in all of these traumatic experiences, but there's so many different parts to trauma. Like you've got intergenerational trauma, things that have been passed down through your family. You've got like trauma, being from Belfast as a place that's grew up through the Troubles, and we have there's the divide. I say divide because there's not really a divide, but there was a divide between the Catholics and the Protestants, and being brought up in that's traumatic for a lot of kids. And there's so much that goes on there, like really small stuff, like when you were in school and maybe your teacher didn't pick you for the school play. That can be traumatic for a child, but you won't think it because that was so small and insignificant to you at the time. But it's still stored, and it's still something that you just panned off and didn't think about. So there's so many layers. I'm doing my level 2 breathwork training now. So it's 7 months long, and it's a 200-hour trauma informed course. So I'm going to be delving a lot deeper into it. So I'm really, really excited to learn more about it.
So have you started that yet?
Yes.
And how is that different to what you're doing now, or what would you be doing differently?
So this course is just the next step. So basically what I did before was just learning the conscious connected breathing, learning sort of about the trauma in the body, but very, very surface level. It wasn't as many hours. This is 7 months long. This is deep, intense. This is learning more about the anatomy of the body, learning more about all the different types of breath. So there's just so many, like breath for ice baths, deep or down regulation, like corporate type of breathing, hosting retreats, like we're getting some movement taught to us as well, like somatic movement to sort of help at the I don't know, I just started doing that there as
but that's a big part of it though, like, you know, where you have to let your body.
There's honestly, the course is just so detailed.
Is it the highest qualification you can get, or can you go higher?
I don't think so. I think I might be wrong. I don't know whether this is because it's breathwork mastery, but it says level 2. So I don't know if that makes you a master of it or you're just on a level 2. I actually have no idea, to be honest. But it's better than what I'm going to be doing now. So just one step up. Yeah.
So that's exciting. So okay, so we're jumping back to, you were living in Australia, but obviously you're not now. So what happened there?
Australia's a funny one.
Australia's came up a lot on a few podcasts.
Has it? Hasn't it? I feel like Australia's just this place that's made out like to be amazing, and like you go over there and you earn loads of money and you live by the beach. Yeah, you live by the beach and it's just all amazing. And like, don't get me wrong, for some of it I loved it. Like it's such a beautiful place. Like the culture there's amazing. People getting up at 5 a.m. and going for their sunrise and their coffee and doing their workouts all before they start their day's work is fantastic. But it just didn't agree with me. It basically, I feel like Australia was kicking me out from the minute that I got there, and I just kept bypassing it and pushing it past because I wanted to live there.
So what sort of signs were there that it was kicking you out? Like, what were you noticing?
The first place I ever moved into was covered in mold. Like it was just dirty. It was honestly, thinking about it gives me a weird stomach. It was just the most disgusting place ever, and we couldn't get anywhere else. Then I was working in that bar, and it was just honestly draining every single ounce of energy that I had in me. I just didn't feel comfortable there, but I was like, I'll keep trying. I'll just keep trying.
I can relate to you. Big time.
Honestly. And then I found happiness. I met a man, and I felt, oh my God, everything was great. Like I started to really Love Sydney, and I quit my job and I moved into I was working for the government doing recruitment, and I was getting paid really well and things were starting to go good. But obviously I mentioned that I was lonely because I was working from home all of the time. It was a lonely place, so there was always still something going on. Even if I did still feel a bit happy, I was still feeling lonely, and obviously being so far away from home, it's hard. But then, like, a couple of months after, things just started getting crap again. I had found out that this man had been living a double life, cheating on me for the whole time, and that just like brought the experience back down to earth. I was just like, oh God, here we go again. Like, something else is just coming up. Like, one thing after the other. I was just like, honestly, I was just in the depths. I was in the depths, and then I had actually went home for a visit, for a friend's wedding, and I had realised how much debt I was in at home. Like, I pretended that, like, nothing back home mattered. I let my credit cards all build up. Like, I missed payments on everything. Like, there was letters coming through the door every day looking for money for me, and I just pretended that none of it was real. And I think when you leave Peter Pan land and come back to reality of where you live, then it all just smacks you up the face. You're like, oh crap, I actually have to deal with stuff. I actually have to, like, be an adult here and not just pretend that everything's fine. Yeah, and then things just got worse from then. Just started piling up and piling up and piling up. And that was when I was sort of like, should I move home? It was always in the back of my head then, being like, this land of the fairies is just, I don't think it's agreeing with me. So yeah, then I, once I reached real breaking point, I was always considering moving home, but I was like, no, there's so much I have to do to move home. Like, because you move into an unfurnished apartment there, you'd have to sell all of your things, you have to break your lease early. Like, it costs a lot of money, to be able to leave your apartment. And it was like, oh, I can't afford it. Like, I just couldn't afford to do it. And like, obviously pay for the flight home. I was already going home anyway, but I would have to change everything and do all that. And there was one day my sister had rang me and she was like, why don't you come home early? Because I'd finished my job and stuff, because obviously you're on 6 months working visas out there. You can't, when your job's done sometimes for people. And she rang me, she was like, why don't you change your flight and come home early? Like, it's Daddy's 60th. Because I was just going home for a wedding. And she was like, I'll see if I have money to change it for you. And I was like, I'll think about it. I was like, I'm not confirming anything, but I'll think about it. And like, that morning I got a shower and I sat and I meditated and I was like, I just need you to give me a sign. You as in like the universe, anything, the higher power, whatever it was. It's like, I just need you to give me a sign. Like, my head is so scrambled eggs here. I was like, am I going? Like, do I need to go home? Because there were so many things telling me to go home. I was like, do I go home and do I stay there? I need to know. And I put out my little oracle cards, the ones we did last night. And like, it's a deck of like 50 cards. I just spread them all out. And I was like, just really concentrated on it. And I was like, scanning my hand over, and I was like, I just picked a card and it just said yes on it. And I was like, what do you mean yes? I was like, so I was like, are you telling me that I need to move home? And you open the book, and the book usually gives you like a paragraph of all these different things in it. And the whole page just said yes in capital letters.
I saw that page yesterday, and it was just literally repeated, yes.
And I was just like, oh God. And I was like, my gut tells me that that's right, but I was like, no, this is a fluke. This is definitely a fluke. I was like, no, I'll try again. I'll pick another card. I'll let you give me a second chance here. So I picked the other card up, and it said, take the leap. And in the paragraph thing, it says, your journey home, something like that. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, that's it. I was like, I changed my flights that day.
So did you feel like an instant relief once you booked your flights, of inner knowing of like, okay, this is it?
Yeah.
Or were you like, oh God, I'm on my faith here on a deck of cards?
I just felt peace.
Yeah.
Like, I just felt peace with it. And it's strange because I never, ever pictured myself living in Belfast, ever. If you had said that to me a couple of years ago, I'd be like, you are mad. I was like, there is no way I will ever live in Belfast. I thought it was
laptop life out in
yeah.
Bali.
I thought it was a shithole, to be honest. I thought it was just the worst place ever. But see, now I can come home and I appreciate it. I appreciate the beauty of the place, and I just appreciate everyone that's there. It was the maddest decision that I ever made, but it was the best decision I ever made, ever. And something was calling me to come home. Something was telling me to come home right at that moment in time. And thank God it did, because I got home and like 2 days later, my uncle passed away. I was like, something was telling me, because there's nothing worse. And we were chatting about this yesterday. There's nothing worse than when you're that far away from home and you get a phone call or a text that something has went wrong when you're so far away. And I was like, that alone for me was like, I'm happy I decided to move home, because if anything ever did happen to any of my friends or family when I was out there, I just don't know how I'd be able to cope with it. Like, it's just a mad feeling.
Yeah, like I'm such a home bird, and that's what I was saying to you yesterday. Like, I would freak the fuck out if I was away somewhere and I got a call saying something happened and I wasn't there. Yeah, I'd lose my life.
Yeah, there's so many good things and obviously negative things about like living away, and it's some people just, it works for them, and I was like, and people are like, oh, do you not miss it? Do you not miss it all the time? And I'm like, no.
So are you settled now in Belfast?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Settled.
Do you know what I'm dying to know?
What
was your favourite Friends episode? I'm intrigued to, since you've seen so many of them so many times.
So many times, yeah.
Because I'm the same.
It's the one, I don't know what the actual name of it is, but I think it's the 18-page letter one, back and front, and they're screaming at each other.
Oh yeah.
It's not that common. It doesn't have to prevent, and it is a big deal. I just love that one when they're screaming at each other. It's just so funny.
There's so many good ones.
So many good
my
ones.
one is, do you remember the one, there was two actually, or was it that same episode? Do you remember the one where Ross got his teeth whitened?
Yeah.
And he was on the date with your one, and she had like, she turned off the lights and all, and you could see his teeth. Like, or when he's getting the spray paint.
Oh,
you know,
the spray tan,
And he was like, is it Mississippi? Or is it? Oh, they're just...
And he just comes out so dark, and then he goes back again, and the same thing happens. Or the leather trousers one as well.
Oh.
It's always him.
He's my favourite.
Fantastic.
I loved when Joey was trying to learn French.
Je m'appelle.
Yeah.
And he just thought he was doing such a good job. Like.
Me poo poo.
Yeah.
Or the pivot with the couch.
Yeah.
Pivot.
Oh God, there's so
There's
many.
a lot of
So
iconic
many.
There's
moments.
so many. I just
show.
love it. It's such a show. Such a show.
So tell us, you're at home, you're living your best life. What do you see for yourself for the future?
So it's actually quite funny that you asked that, because I went on a retreat in Mayo actually a couple of months like last year, and we had written a 6-month letter to ourselves, and the 6 month was just up there, and I read back on the letter, and it was like, the way I'm feeling right now, I don't want to change it. I just want to continue living exactly how I'm living, and see right now, I don't really want to look into the future. I am just happy taking each day as it comes right now. I am so thrilled with everything that's going on in my life. I have the best job. I have a business that I can help a lot of people with, and it's so true to my soul. My friends, my family, everyone is just, I'm just happy, and I just want to continue doing this. My only big thing is I want to buy a house. That's probably what I want in the future. And I am saving, and I have, do you know what's so funny? You know how you know you're in your 30s? My credit score went up, and I squealed out loud. I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is the best day of my life. My credit score went up.
What's it like building or buying up in Belfast? Is it pricey? Is it hard? Is it?
Apparently now, yeah, but I never would have looked at buying houses back then, so I wouldn't have known what any prices to compare are. I just know from what people say.
It's a lot cheaper than here anyway.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it probably up north is like
It's
way
colossal
cheaper
down here, so that's why I'm living in a mobile home. Like.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking 200 grand for like a 3-bed.
Jesus, that's nothing.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
expensive up there.
That is
So it
mad.
is.
Yeah, Gavin's saying here you could buy 2 of them. Yeah.
No, honestly, I don't know. I just want to continue the way I'm going, save for a deposit, enjoy my life, go on holidays, and just keep.
Do you think?
Keep going.
Do you think has breathwork been the thing that has helped you get to this place? Because I think we're always looking ahead and looking at, okay, what do I need to do next? And what do I need to do next? Rather than actually being able to sit and enjoy what you already have.
Yeah. And I think breathwork was a catalyst to starting it. Like, it's everything that came with it. Like the doing the deep work, the asking the hard questions, actually being able to sit with yourself in your own space, in your own body, and figuring out so many things about yourself that you didn't ask yourself before, or you never questioned, you never really looked into, and being able to sort of process all of that. It was definitely a catalyst, but like the continuous work keeps it going, you know.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
All the way down.
It has been, I have had such a lovely day yesterday and today. Thank you so much for having me. Brilliant. I really appreciate it.
Excellent. Thanks very much for watching or for listening. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please like and share. And you will find more information about Áine and what she does in the show notes. And we'll see you in the next one.